Hi, everyone. Welcome to Double D-Fense. We're an all-female, most of the time, New York Rangers podcast. I am one of your hosts, Liz. We have with us Christine. We have a very special guest with us, Matt. And we have a lot to talk about today. We're recording this on Monday, February 19th. This is the day after the Rangers had an epic win over the Islanders in just the most amazing Stadium Series game, and we have some very special guests who will be joining us a little bit later in the podcast to share their experiences of actually being at the game. We are very jealous being in Southern California. We were able to.
Well, I would have
froze. In short sleeves.
I would have froze. So it was cold. Did you see everybody?
It cold. Looked
I saw
cold.
Santa on Saturday too, like in the crowd. So I'm like, no.
It absolutely looked freezing, and obviously there was that delay because of the sun glare, which we also have to get into because did the NHL not understand sun will exist? But that's another story, which we'll get into in a little bit. And Matt, who is our resident LA Kings fan, is here to share some of the updates about what's going on the West Coast. And I think Christine, you were looking at some odds on Bovada Sportsbook earlier today about some of the West Coast teams.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, BovadaSportsbook.com. Let me tell you something. They have some fun things. So first of all, I think Matt, you're going to get into you're back with the Kings after winning over the Oilers, and right now they're kind of favored to win the Stanley Cup. We're eighth, the Rangers, meaning we're at plus 1,100. And I think what was the Kings on Bovada?
The Kings on Bovada are plus 1,800s, and number one to win the Stanley Cup at plus 700, the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah. Are we tired of them yet?
Oh, I've been tired of them for years.
I know that was funny last year. He's like, that's like they're the only team where you put more money and the most money in it and most investment, and then they end up worse than the year before. That's what you were saying last time. So it was pretty funny. Yeah. But yeah, so you were kind of talking about this epic game. Was it today?
So for reference, we're recording this President's Day Monday afternoon. We are coming off of a crazy 17-goal game where the Wild beat the Canucks 10-7.
Oh yeah, I saw that. And guess who lost? The Canucks.
The Canucks.
So yeah, I mean that makes that race at the top just so tight right now. It's so tight.
If the Kings get back in the equation, we could have 4 teams competing for the division, which would be crazy. Yeah. But yeah, 7
and good.
The Wild win off of 10 goals. 6 of them are unanswered, and the Wild scored 7 in one period. They scored 7 in the third period.
If it was the Rangers,
10-7.
So we had 3 unanswered goals, right? We were telling yesterday, and so it was funny because again on these boards, the people and their words and what they're like, this team's embarrassing. They have their heads up their asses, and and of course, Liz is kind of right. I mean, it's been typical. They're stuck in traffic. I'm like, just let them sit there.
My running theory with the Rangers. Sometimes they don't show up. Sometimes
the traffic cleared at MetLife. They were
totally. They were on the GWP. Shesterkin took a little bit of time to get over there. Kreider, Mika's been stuck in traffic for a while. But I mean, really, that was a big part of it. But it was funny, the message boards, and we can get into that in a little bit. But I did a little deep dive into the Islanders message boards just so I could feel better about life, and it was very entertaining. So Matt, just back over to the West Coast. So obviously the Canucks have had just an insanely great season. Do they show any signs of stopping, or is this? Do you think that this is a team that could go all the way to the Cup Finals? And it's interesting that Bovada didn't have them as number one.
I think they can take. I think they can take the division if they keep this up. However, I'm a little worried about their playoff experience. It's been 6-7 years since they've been to the playoffs. If they had that playoff experience, I would consider them more of a threat in the playoffs. But it also goes to show, I do not want to play them in the playoffs. if that's any consolation. The Pacific is in a great spot right now where like no one wants to play anybody, and that's good. That's good because we're getting one of the most competitive seasons I think we've ever gotten. So many highs, so many lows. It's freaking bonkers right now. Onto the King side, this is my transition. Onto the King side, we have had the most god awful month I think we've ever had as a pro sports franchise.
Yeah, lost a coach.
Yeah,
got an
so many bad things. But the good news, since coming back from the All-Star break, 4-1. And if you include the game,
beat the Bruins, which was good.
It always happens.
That was really good. I watched that. That was spectacular.
So I screamed like it was a playoff game. I'll just say that. And then also they go. Play
I did
the Bruins.
too for them.
They go play the Bruins, and then the next one day after they go play the Penguins on Yager's retirement night. I kind of feel a little. I don't feel bad for the Penguins. I feel bad for Yager. The Penguins giving up a lead late in the third period for the Kings to win it in regulation. So I think we're back. I don't.
Well, yeah, you needed to come back from that game, Matt, that you forgot to show up at. Talking about buses, Matt. There was a game where they got outshot, like what was it, 7-0? It was insane. And I was like, Matt, what happened? So Matt sends me a link to this, this whole team where the whole crowd shows up for a minor league game and the team doesn't. Hey, so he's like, it's just like this. He's like, what game are you talking about, Mom?
So in the West, if the playoffs started now, what kind of matchups would we be looking at? Because I think this is something as Ranger fans, we need to start, I guess, in an ideal scenario, start figuring out what the Stanley Cup Finals might look like.
So
we're always screwed no matter what. It doesn't even matter. So for us, but what are you like? How's it for you guys?
In the Pacific, the Kings right now would play the Stars, which no, thank you. No.
I know. Stars are hot right now.
No, thank you.
Stars are super hot, and the Rangers are actually playing the Stars tomorrow. So that'll be a very interesting game to see. We'll see if there's a little preview, and I wonder where the Stars are on Bovada in terms of.
They are. They were ahead of us. So they're 6th. The Canucks are 7th, and we were 8th. Kind of in line. So that's like a plus 1,000 or 1,100. I think they're kind of close.
And then what else? Vegas would play Edmonton. Oh yeah, please. That's
would be great.
Tasty series.
I think they did that last year.
Yeah, that's why it's so good. I think the rivalry. I think that rivalry is also awesome. Oilers versus everybody. But in the, I'm rooting for everybody in that context for sure.
It's not really Oilers. It's one person versus everybody. Just hand them all the awards. Call it a game. It's all good.
Yeah, and the other two series, Colorado, Winnipeg, and Vancouver, St. Louis. Colorado, Winnipeg will be fun. Not right now with Colorado because I think they're a bit banged up to say the least.
So, you're talking about Colorado. So on Bovada, there was only one really fun kind of bet going on, and that's for McKinnon, that he would score a point or more in every home game, all 41 home games. How fun is that?
I mean,
I think that's funny. That's the bet. I didn't see any other ones that were as exciting as that. So it's funny that you mentioned that.
That's amazing.
So think about that, and I wouldn't bet on it. The other one, while I had it on Bovada, was they have a bet for making it to the Stanley Cup an original 6 team versus the field, which I liked too.
Yeah.
So. Although it's funny because out of these original 6, a couple of them aren't doing so good.
I mean, we for the Rangers. The Rangers are good. Bruins are good.
Flyers are hanging in there.
Yeah.
Bruins
so there's a few. Leafs, so that was an interesting bet too.
Yeah. And also to teams on the bubble right now, Nashville. I think they'll make it. I think they'll hop St. Louis. I think Nashville's pretty good. Minnesota is pretty iffy. Seattle's pretty iffy. Calgary's climbing up, and they're a scary team. Yeah, there's the West rundown.
It could be interesting. Sarah, if you're watching this, we're coming. We'll be coming. So
Matt, like real quickly, as the time's going on and stuff. Yesterday, you were watching the game. You texted me about our rookie. Yeah. So, what did you think of him? Yeah, Matt's like, who's our new favorite player? It's Matt Rempe.
Let me tell you, Matt Rempe.
Yeah.
My new favorite stat. Wait, what was his full name? I forgot. Is Matt
Rempe.
Matt Rempe. Yeah, Matt Rempe. 1 second time on ice, 5 penalty minutes.
I don't even think they had dropped the puck. So we're talking back about the Stadium Series. So Matt Rempe, who made his NHL debut, who was the first player to ever make his NHL debut in an outdoor game.
Yeah.
I also think he may have been the first player to get a major penalty without the puck ever having been dropped. I don't think they had dropped the puck and he was already punching someone. He is 6'7", 241 pounds. How he even did you see the way his jersey fit him? Like it came up to like his belly button. Like they didn't even have a big enough jersey for this guy. And he had a really interesting story. I don't know if you read sort of about his backstory and how it was the anniversary of his father's death. You see that? So he was playing for something super like important to him. That
was wonderful.
Yeah, and he's from Calgary as well. And I think that's his father died like shoveling snow or something, like a really, really like sad story that he channeled into something super awesome. So I would love to see Bovada's
as the game was going on. I texted Mom. Matt Rempe is the greatest Ranger of all time.
Well, here's a question. So, he's, we're not seeing too many really tall players anymore, right? And so, but we have him, but we also have Edstrom too. So, and we've brought him, and they keep wanting to bring him back up, and he's 6'8", so 6'7", 6'8". These guys from Wolfpack. There's Matt. Okay, for those listening, Matt's 6'7" himself. So I've watched him growing up.
Yeah.
Playing all the the sports, and just like there's advantage to the reach that they get and everything. So, but there's also the bigger they are, the harder they fall kind of concept to it. So, what do you think about these guys? And if we're gonna maybe think about bringing in like bigger guys to play, and we've got 2 of them. And Matt was an enforcer yesterday, so that everyone liked that part.
I think it's great. I think it's great in that the game itself is evolving to a speed game, which then favors smaller players. So I don't think we're going to be seeing we're going to be seeing big guys, but we're going to be seeing smaller guys than we're used to. I think normally as the game goes on, as the game evolves, I should say. Yeah.
Well, it'll be good to have a little muscle because the further we go in the Stanley Cup, and hopefully it's all the way to the finals this year. It'll be good to have that physicality against some big West Coast teams that Matt's been following very closely. I mean, we have very skilled players. You look at Panarin, you look at what he did during that game yesterday. It was amazing. But he's small and he's fast. Yeah. And that's not going to take them all the way. I mean, that's part of it. But these guys need to be on the ice to be able to allow guys like Panarin to do their job. And it was just so funny to watch when they were like panning across the whole team before they started. They have like player, and then Edstrom's up here, and then Rempe's up here. It was so, and then at like little Trocheck next to them. But not just tall, like obviously like big and wide also.
That's that Shara effect for you, huh?
Yeah,
it's great. I used to, when Matt was playing, I don't know why I didn't. I should have. I always thought I should reach out to him so I can get his used skates for Matt, because Matt was like the biggest kid everywhere. And I'm like, I don't even know where to go for these things. So it's amazing what you can find now. I'm surprised that the Hockey Giant in stores like carry skates for big feet and big kids, but they do.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, these guys are not small. And Matt's skates have been fitting him since he was 15. I don't know how. They're like magical skates. So,
well, Matt, thank you for giving us, everything, all the insight into the West Coast teams. We really appreciate it. And
my pleasure.
Yeah, we'll keep checking back in with you. Thank you. And we do have some other very special guests who have just joined us. Going to add Coach Ed and Little Ed to
we did
chat.
it.
Hi guys.
We
Hi,
made
Ed.
it. How's it going, ladies? We just stopped our recording and heading right into your recording. So looking forward.
Well, your studios definitely win over our studios. Like you're working on it. This is closer to working on it than I am.
I got my little Rangers prayer candles there.
Thank you for calling us very special guests.
Yeah. Well, I've been working on my Ranger room for a long time. Coach had the same thing. But if you guys ever need any help with any memorabilia, I handcraft a lot of my own stuff, as you can see behind me. So if you ever want anything, you definitely hit me up.
I'm starting to work on that myself.
Yeah, it's a good
That's
time.
Awesome. We definitely will. We definitely will. Well, so we heard a rumor that you guys were in attendance yesterday. Would love to hear just what the energy was, what the just the environment was, what your takeaways were. We were very jealous watching on TV.
And just to introduce our special guests, so these guys are from Rangers Ed podcast. I think we've been following each other since the beginning of our existence. So
yep, for sure.
It's been a nice little online kind of friendship and following what you guys post and some behind the scenes chatting, which has been fun. So it's great to have faces there and to talk to you guys in person. Yep. And you guys get out there. You guys do a lot of events in New York, I see. And you guys went out there and you tailgated. So thank God we had the day game because everybody looked super cold.
For sure. Oh yeah. Yeah.
How'd it go? Yeah. So how was the tailgate?
It was phenomenal. I mean, I like to say that Coach Ed and I know how to put on a tailgate. We've been doing it for years with country music concerts and other live events, football games, baseball games, you name it. So it's kind of something we've been doing for a while. So it comes natural to us. But hosting 200 people is something we've never done before. So Coach Ed, man, it was crazy. So shout out to Hockey Night in New York is an Islanders podcast, is a friend of mine, Sean Cuthbert. So we did it together. So we both put in a ton of work. Coach Ed manned the grill for us from 10 o'clock in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, just turning out 125 burgers, 110 hot dogs.
Oh, you guys went to work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
And it sounds like you have a good, I think I was calling it a frivolry yesterday, on
people. Yeah, we say we're frenemies. Yeah.
Frenemies and rivalries.
I like
that. I like the rivalry. That's pretty cool. Can we coin that on our podcast?
For sure.
I like that.
As long as we get credit.
We'll give you guys some credit. We'll talk to Sean about that one. And we're not trying to compete with anybody. That's what we tried to promote yesterday. We're trying to just create a community. I mean, I know you guys aren't local, but I extended the invite for you guys to come out to the tailgate. So, of course, next event, you guys are always welcome. If you ever want to put on a joint event, we'd love to have you guys. And like I said, there's no competition here. We're just trying to create a nice Rangers community for everybody. And I think we took a step forward in the right direction yesterday.
That's awesome. How was the vibe with the Islander fans who came out?
I had said we played a little game Saturday night outdoors ourselves, and I had said to Sean, who's the Islanders guy, in my existence when I was a kid, there's no way you could have tailgated with Islander fans. There would have just been fights
back in the day,
all over the parking lot. It would have been just mayhem. Even like a friendly hockey game that we did Saturday night, no way. It would have been a brawl. There's no way it would exist. So it's just the way the world has come around,
Yeah, now people save it for the message boards.
Exactly. Everyone likes to hide behind a keyboard. Yeah. Right.
But I was just surprised with that.
We sent out an email beforehand saying, hey, listen, like if there's any kind of other than like innocent chirps and banter, like you'll be asked to leave, but there was nothing that even came close to that. So we had a lot of Islander fans from the United Kingdom come out who support their show. We had a few Ranger fans from Germany, from RUK and whatnot from all over the country. So everyone was very happy. Everyone was very friendly. So luckily there was no issues in that regard at all. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot easier when we kind of have the confidence in the Rangers, you know? So if the Rangers lost or if they weren't as good of a team, it would be a little different for us, I think.
But I feel like
we sweated a little bit then there yesterday.
Exactly. Yeah.
I feel like Ranger fans. I feel like Ranger fans don't talk shit though. Like if after Saturday night, nah, not as bad. Like Islander fans are like Jet fans. Every year they're gonna have the best team. They're gonna make the playoffs. They're gonna win the cup. You know,
they're still living in the 80s.
Yeah,
the Ranger fans are the other side. They go the other way. Like the minute that there's a goal scored, it's like traded. Like they just kind of go the other way, you know.
Yep.
And so, and I got a few what is the word? Not nice comments, like, you know, but because I think they jumped to, you know, like just rash decisions about the player, you know, and how they.
Which Ranger fans online never, ever,
never.
They're all done and over.
Like
and then
that,
look, how many comeback games have we had? I mean, you know, we were talking, you know, earlier. We had Matt on, my son, and you know, we know why they'll win, right? I mean, this is the way they kind of play. You know, they kind of have a better second period. They kind of come out. They like to stress us all out. I mean, our theory that Liz kind of came up with is that the bus just hasn't arrived. It's in traffic, and it kind of makes sense.
So it takes them like a period to show up, and then everything's fine. But I'm so curious. So tell us a little bit about just the environment. Like, what was it like seeing a game at MetLife?
Oh, it was crazy. I mean, you think about it, you go to a hockey game, a Ranger game, the Garden, how electric it is, and they put it up on the scoreboard. Sold out crowd, 18,000, and you just hear the goal song. It's just like I said, electric, the energy, just literally quadruple that, 80,000 fans. I think that the final number was 79,660 or something like that. They put up on the scoreboard. It was just incredible. I mean, obviously in the beginning, it didn't look too great. There was a lot of Islander cheers, but I mean, the Ranger fans, I said it before on our show, I think it was like 65-35%. So that the Ranger fans definitely outnumbered, and just picture that goal song being chanted by 60,000 fans.
So one of the questions I have, because I saw a bunch of Islander fans complaining about this, is that even though the Rangers were not the home team, they got a horn in the goal song. Was that like any part of the conversation? Were people like legitimately upset about that?
That's what we hear after the fact, Coach. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, that's ridiculous. You're going to cry about that. It's supposed to be, even though there's a home and away, it's like a neutral nationwide game. It's like not the Winter Classic, but, you know, the Devils and Flyers were the same way. I thought that was a nice touch. Even if the Rangers lost, I thought it was cool the way they figured that out. They couldn't figure out how to get us in the stadium, but they figured that out.
They did an overhead shot before the game, and it looked like there were some big crowds.
You probably saw us. We missed the first 10 minutes of the first period, something like that. So we missed the fight. We missed Rempe's fight. We missed the first Rangers goal. We missed the national anthem, obviously. So that was very stressful for sure. So that part of the environment wasn't too great. They definitely should figure that out. But other than that, once you're in there, it was phenomenal.
Hey, kudos to the NHL for making some moves that are positive, and I think just bringing more attention to the game of hockey, because I think that I think this was a smart move for them. I think they did on the whole a decent job. The broadcast itself was okay. I mean, you guys were watching there. Yeah, you
got to see Emily Kaplan in her.
Emily Kaplan.
Oh my God, please.
And weird camera angles.
Always, right? Always.
Oh, man.
You can't do her justice, unfortunately.
Wait, do you guys listen to our podcast? Is that why you said that, or?
I've listened to it, but I haven't. I actually have not thought when you've talked about
Emily
it.
Kaplan. Emily Kaplan is disturbing.
All right, let's pump the brakes.
Yeah. And you know, we can't understand why she looks like the way she does when you're in the same area as PK Subban, was over the top fashionable.
Right.
She should have a stylist, a makeup artist. Right. Yeah.
I know. She needs more friends. She needs us.
they don't help her out. Yeah.
No, we've definitely, and again, we really support, women in the field of hockey, and like this is
Of course.
So do I. I think it's great.
Yeah, but however,
if she says thank you in one more language, I'm going to throw something at the TV.
Look, Liz knows that's my pet peeve too, and she doesn't even say it well. So that bugs me. Like on Saturday night, she was like, "Danke Shane," and I was like,
"Oh my goodness,
regular."
So, that's tough.
I wonder what the players say in the locker room. I wonder what the players say in the locker room.
That's rough.
So here's the thing too, like. And I'm kind of jump, so we can kind of go back, but I saw this with my son. Like when you're at the game, you're not seeing the replays and everything. And this time I had some great camera angles that we could watch, afterward. And what they've been putting out today has been fantastic. So when there was that break and they had to review that goal, what was the chatter going on with you guys? Because you couldn't see the replay of what was happening, or unless they did show up, but I'm sure they didn't. Everyone's just waiting.
You want to go?
I don't think they did show the replay. Eddie said they did.
I don't think they do at the game. I've texted. I've had to text. I watch it on TV, but I have to text it, when someone's at the game.
A lot of the times,
we just saw the net. We just saw the net go off, and that was we didn't know what the exact circumstance was.
Right. I feel like a lot of the time at the game they don't want to show the replay because then the fans are going to be going nuts, and then the referee can't hear what's going on. He might get not encouraged, but influenced to go one way or another, whatever. So they don't show the replays a lot, but then once they did show the replay, I mean, Coach Ed and I mean, we're coaches ourselves, so we think we know a lot about the rules and stuff. So like he was explaining, like, no, I think even though the net got knocked off, the puck was already on its way into the net. So like we were confident in that way that we were able to break down the play ourselves, like for that whole minute that everyone else is sitting there anxious. I mean, we were not saying like we called game, but like we kind of had the little bit easier time, I'd say, because we were a little more confident knowing exactly what happened.
So I have a question. So from a coaching perspective, and you guys are coming in as coaches, this game to me felt like a Laviolette, massive win. Like he coached the heck out of this game.
Absolutely.
Was that, do you guys feel that way? Did you guys like see that live, in especially having to adapt to those circumstances, which are not like your typical game?
Yeah.
Love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah. In a recent interview,
I'm sorry, what circumstances you're talking about?
I'm talking about the fact that this is not a game played in MSG. You're dealing with actual wind. Gotcha. You're dealing with a weird environment. You're dealing with the pressure. Just the fact that it's a totally different kind of environment.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, I have confidence in Laviolette. He mentioned in a recent interview, I think it was after the McKinnon goal, which what we broke down on one of our episodes, is that he didn't prepare the team enough to adapt to the 1-3-1 breakdown or the 1-3-1 forecheck. And McKinnon was able to get through easily. And he said, that's on me. I didn't prepare the team enough. And then he said he made that in-game adjustment. And then the rest of the game, McKinnon was completely shut down. So I actually said it to Cousin Ed and Coach Ed when we were at the game. I said, guys, don't worry. Like Laviolette's going to make some in-game adjustments. I'm sure they're watching tape, whoever upstairs and stuff. And I mean, I'm not trying to rip on the Islanders at all, but it seems like they are a very easy team to break down and process and create those like adaptations, whatever you want to call it. So like I just had confidence that he was able to do that, and it looked like he was. And it looked from the first period to the second period and the third period, completely different style of gameplay, in my opinion. What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think he's obviously the best, highest winning American coach. I think he's. I was very happy when they hired him. I was confident. I'm never.
Coach has been saying it for about 10 years that he wanted Laviolette on the bench for the Rangers. I'm not even kidding. At least
ever
10
since
years.
Ever since the Islanders let him go, I didn't understand that. I was like, that was a blessing for us, I don't understand the whole inner workings of it, but because I've never been involved in an NHL coach's mind, but it's just what they have to go through. Like me and Eddie coach championship games at different levels. I just can't imagine that pressure of that outdoor game, the media. These guys have to answer these questions regularly. And in there, and Emily Kaplan with the mic in their face, in the middle of the period, I'd be like, I'm more like Tortorella, in case you haven't figured that out. So I'd be like, yeah, all right, go. I'm not answering that. Get off the bench, But I give him a lot of credit. He's always got like an even keel. You never really see him lose his cool that much. He gets a little annoyed with referees, and I think the players feel that. Like Patrick Roy's mentality is the screaming and everything. And I don't think that's going to last. So I think the even keel as a coach, his experience, and he's a player's coach, but he's strict enough. He's going to tell the guys when they need to. I just think he's very even keel and he handles that pressure.
He's very much like trust the process. He gives everyone a specific role and he trusts his players and he knows that the systems are going to work if they're executed properly. And if I was the coach in that locker room, that's all you got to remind your players. And that's what we remind our players. Like, we've put you guys in the right position to succeed. Now it's your opportunity to do it, and I think that's what the Rangers did. They snapped out of it after the first period. They played a lot better. And go ahead, Christine.
So you're talking about that, and so look at our like evolvement of coach, from Quinn to Gallant to now Laviolette, right? And so I always kind of thought Quinn had that more college approach with the kids. He kind of seemed to be one of them and getting out there, and then Gallant seemed to be the players' coach, right? And so it just seems like that even though he might have been good, that he's kind of capitalized on what they should have learned from that, and he's taking it further. Are you kind of seeing that? Did you see positives from the other guys, to get them to where they are with Laviolette now?
Coach?
Well, I hate to pick on coaches. I mean, my nephew hated Quinn. I thought he did an okay job. Don't forget there's different circumstances. He's a rookie coach. He had to deal with a COVID, practice scheduling during COVID. That's a nightmare as an NHL coach, and it's your first year. Then he's got to deal with the media pressure.
We had to do it with 16-year-olds, and it was a nightmare.
Right. Then he's got to deal with media pressure, every day, and the whole thing. I mean, Gallant has that stigma that he does well his first year. I liked him. But I think Laviolette's
3 years. You need to have that third year.
Yeah.
I think that's when he went. So
I think
felt bad for him. I liked him. I liked his I listened to their press conferences. I like to see how they're going to react as players and stuff. And I thought he was good, but he was handed a tough deal also with the Patrick Kane shenanigans. I mean, I wanted Kane, but they had to go through 5 games with nobody on the bench and stuff, and the whole team gets torn apart. There's a lot of circumstances that go into it. It's difficult.
Yeah, I think Quinn was kind of like you were saying. He was like the friendly coach, like dealing with the younger kids. I think he was perfect for that, like kind of rebuild, like middle. I think as fans, we were all expecting the rebuild to go a little bit longer. Obviously, got jump started for other reasons, which I'm sure you guys have talked about. But then, like Gerard came in, where he was just the players' coach. He let the superstars kind of take care of their business, not very systematic. Now you see Laviolette very strong with the X's and O's. He is a player's coach, but he's also going to be stern when he needs to be. Like Coach had said, like he yells at the refs. He gets animated when he has to be. But Gallant, I remember, was always like over the top, very emotional, very like just like yelling nonsense. It seemed like a lot of the time. But Laviolette, you see, like it's just a professional, like just put together guy. Like in the interviews with the X's and O's, he explains situations. He's very good with the media. He's just like he's a class act. He's been around forever. And he knows what he's doing. And like I said, the players just got to start listening or continue to listen to him and trust the process.
Yeah, and he did. I mean, he did a great job in pulling Shesterkin. Like that was a risk that paid off for him. I mean, that moment had to be pretty incredible to watch.
How many people got up and left? Because I saw people posting like, "Oh God, I'm leaving."
Yeah. Christine and I were texting each other the whole time. Like, I can't even. But
I was ready to leave, and then they scored. And I'm like, "Oh, let me do it again." And then they scored
right before that, they missed the open net by inches. How'd that look on TV?
Yeah, painful.
It was close, right? It was close.
Yeah.
I mean, if that goes in, then if that goes in, Laviolette's, they're asking why'd you pull the goalie so early?
Yeah.
It's a gamble. He trusts with his mind. He knows he said what I like in the beginning of the season. He said, I'm going to run the bench based on game time, in-game situations. If a player's hot, they're going to play. And he must have felt it that this, they had a little momentum. He must have felt that they're going to do it. And he took that risk.
Yeah, their power play was hot that game. They scored a few power play goals before that. So
finally,
he obviously saw something. He sees something that we don't necessarily see. They're in the locker room. Who knows? They could have said something on the bench like, "Coach, we're getting this done. Do it now." Like, you never know what they're talking about. Like, we could sit here all night and analyze it, but like we were just saying, Laviolette knows his players. He's pushing the right buttons, and it was just amazing. And Coach Ed said, if the puck goes in, then we're having a completely different conversation right now about his decision making. So, and we're even sitting there. Coach Ed said to me, he goes, "Nah, it's too early. I would have waited a minute. And we're heading into playoffs this weekend for Stony Brook. So knock on wood, hopefully we're not in that situation."
I know. I saw your post that you were manifesting the win. Right?
Yeah. So I stay confident.
Yeah, you got to have faith. I mean, that's the way these guys work. So we were talking earlier about Matt Rempe and him coming out there. And my son is 6'7", and you've got him being 6'7". You've got Edstrom being 6'8". You got them playing. What is your thought? Like, as Ranger fans, we watch them take on the young crowd. They're changing their mentality on taking on the young team. They kind of followed that Vegas kind of line. I've talked to Darrell Evans and other people about just the young crowd, but now we're changing that. So do you think that we're going to kind of look and trying to bring these guys up and get that bigger, kind of brawn, in there? I mean, they want them in playing and they were kind of fun. So what are your thoughts on these two guys from the Wolfpack?
Coach, go first.
I was a fan of Edstrom when he came up that one game against Chicago. I thought he was not going to go back down.
Right.
And their skating ability for that size. I mean, Zdeno Chara was the big guy, 20 years, but he was a very awkward.
They reach everything. That's my child.
It was a very awkward skater. He was good. Yeah. He obviously didn't get beat a lot, but these guys their stride is ridiculous for that size.
Yeah.
There's no awkward movement. They play smart. It's like Hartford's playing the same game as the Rangers. They come in, they don't miss a beat. Yeah. We watch Rempe live. I was a big fan of him. My nephew fills me in on all his stats, and those are the kind of players I love. And they need that size in the playoffs. They definitely.
Yeah, my son used to be called the finisher because they would put him in Chris Kreider's spot, and they're so big they can't see anything. They screen the ball, and then he would just tap it in and then score. That's what they need. So,
I
have hockey mom mode, with stuff. So with what I've gone through. So.
Yeah, I think the important thing is what Coach Ed just said is these guys could play too. We had the Ryan Reeves a couple years ago, and I think that's overlooked in the NHL where players, especially in the playoffs, take liberties against other star players, and to have someone like that on the bench that can also skate and is also an offensive threat potentially is huge. And then obviously Rempe can also throw down, and we saw that. And he didn't just throw down against like a no-name guy or another AHL guy looking to make a name for himself. He threw down against Matt Martin. So that's no joke. That's no easy task, so, and he can play hockey. Like I said, that's the important thing. There's not much room left in the NHL for guys that can't play, that can only fight.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's the road that Reeves is heading down right now. And he's slowing down as a player, getting older, obviously. But now these younger guys that can fight and can skate and can stick handle, shoot, everything, that's huge, especially to have in the playoffs in depth,
Absolutely. It can change the momentum of the game. So, if there's something going on, you send those guys out just to kind of shift momentum like that. It's a huge help. Yeah. I have a question for you guys. Predictions for the rest of the season. Where do you think we go in the next couple of weeks to next couple of months?
Or after tomorrow when we play.
Well, before the season started, I predicted the Rangers winning the Metro. I know it was a bold prediction. Everyone had the Devils doing it again. Carolina, obviously. So I'm sticking with it. I think the Rangers are going to go wire to wire and win the Metro Division for sure. Coach,
I think it's going to be tough. I'm going to say first or second. I mean, I don't mean to sound like a downer, but Carolina's hot. It's going to depend.
We may not want first.
I've been
That's
saying
true
that.
too.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a good thing. Not in our division.
No.
I know, like that's what Matt was on earlier, talking about how these in the Pacific Division, like no one really wants to be playing each other right now. So you do get into that strategic. You want to obviously win and get the most points, but if you're going to start lining up against someone you don't play well against, that that strategy kind of comes into play, and it's fun to watch.
Exactly.
This is where I liked just kind of watching everybody. Just like they kept saying yesterday, we wanted the points to get that comfort lead, but the Islanders need the points, so
Right.
I like seeing that energy now, and it's the same energy and for different reasons, but you're going to start seeing everybody kind of scrambling, and everything's so close still.
Yeah.
So
well, they got 2 more games against the Islanders, I believe.
I think they have 3 more. I think it's actually 3 more games.
Yeah, no, they haven't. The fact that they didn't play yet.
Twice in April.
It's crazy the way the NHL has been making the schedule super weird. I mean, last year we went to like 3 Pittsburgh Penguins games in a row all within a week. It was nuts.
Yeah.
So yeah, the rest of the schedule there's a lot of in-division games that'll be quite interesting.
Very interesting for sure. Yeah. I think we're going to be doing a. What?
Were you guys cold? I mean, did you bring like heated gloves, or are you guys just?
Well, like Coach Ed was by the grill the entire time, so he was nice and cozy. What?
Oh, how about inside? Was it like with the warmth of everybody else? Was it okay, or
when we first got in there, it was still a little sunny, so it wasn't too bad. But obviously, as the night progressed, the sun was going down. It started to get a little chilly. Let's put it this way: we were very happy that Panarin scored 10 seconds into the overtime. Coach Ed and I've grown up in New York. Coach Ed obviously lived his whole life in New York, so I don't want to say used to it, but we're built for this. Cousin Ed is in Miami now. He grew up in New York, but he's in Miami since 2011. He was freezing. So
yeah, I think that would have been us. So we're both New Yorkers transplanted to Southern California because we were done with winter.
Yeah, I kept saying if you prepare the right way, like you were saying, heated jackets, heated gloves, whatever you got. One of our fans went shirtless almost the entire third period. He sent me a video before of him shirtless. He's a steel worker in New York City, so he was at our tailgate barely wearing anything. He had like a jersey on and pajama pants
today.
Yeah, he was in pajama pants. He joked around. He goes, "I'm not even wearing underwear under these." I'm like, "All right," but so I mean, like
too much information.
Everyone's different. Everyone had a blast and stayed as warm as we could. We had a fire pit too going. So inside the stadium, it was a little windy with like
they wore ski goggles. Did you see that like on Sunday?
I think that was more for show. That's more for show. Kind of people were kind of just like wearing different things just to be funny. I saw one guy in a hockey helmet with the visor and stuff. So, I think it's just like everyone has their own little get up, and it was cool to see everyone's like different outfits and how they were trying to stay warm.
How many Whalers outfits did you see?
There's always one. There's always one Whalers and one Nordiques.
I do remember seeing one jersey, a Whalers jersey. Was it when we were walking in, or it might have been
a picture with one?
Yeah. Nordiques, I didn't see. I don't remember Nordiques, Coach. Did you see anything?
No, I don't remember that either.
Yeah.
Well, before we wrap up, guys, are there any super exciting events that you guys have coming up that you want to share that you're excited about?
Well, other than just catching our episodes on YouTube, we're trying very, very hard to put out some more unique content. I mean, definitely check out Coach's Corner, where Coach Ed over here draws on the whiteboard and we break down different plays. We actually broke down hard angle shots, or what was it? And what was the title? I forget. Impossible angle shots or something like that, whatever. So we broke this down, and then Mika ends up scoring on that shot from the corner to tie it up. So head on over to YouTube to check out all that stuff. And then actually Sean from Hockey Night in New York invited us to be part of his live show watch party on St. Patrick's Day when they play the Islanders. So definitely keep an eye out for those details. Maybe we'll do some kind of all-you-can-drink deal or something like that. But we're going to be doing another live show with raffles and stuff on March 17th, I believe, is St. Patrick's Day this year. So, it's a Sunday. So we're going to be doing that.
Yeah, we were there. That's when we were there last year. Yeah, barely survived.
But other than that, if next time you guys are in New York, we'd love to get together and do something with you guys. So
absolutely, and for the West Coast road trip next year, we would we'd love to return the favor.
I would love to do that.
We're all about road tripping. So I know you guys kind of travel sometimes too.
Yeah. So where are you guys?
I'm in, very close, Los Angeles. Yeah.
Both you in Los
We're
Angeles?
raining
Awesome.
right now, and we're trying not to drown in the drizzle because it's really not that bad. So
Well,
it's raining.
I actually said to a few people yesterday, step one is the tailgate for MetLife. Maybe step two is a next Rangers Ed road trip out to California. So
Oh yeah,
maybe
we
we'll
have
put something
some
together.
plans now
It's a great road trip.
Yeah, in Vegas.
Yeah, we did.
I've been wanting to do it my
we have
whole life.
in Vegas. It's fun.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that more offline. Thank you, Little Ed. Thank you so much, Coach Ed. Thanks, Christine. Thank you guys for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having us. Really appreciate
You guys
it.
have a great day. Thank you so much. I'm glad you guys
Have a
enjoyed.
good night.
Thank you.